Hi, my name is Catherine Griffey, and I'm currently a liberal arts student at Florida International University, and this semester I'm studying linguistics. So today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that a lot of professional linguists have debated over for quite some time, which is whether or not a dialect is inferior to the standard form of a language. So to fully understand this issue, you first have to know what a dialect is. According to Merriam-Webster, a dialect is a regional variety of language distinguished by features of vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation from other regional varieties and constituting together with them a single language. That's a lot of words that don't really make a lot of sense. So let's see if we can find a simpler definition. You lied to me. What's your password?
7161.
No, you have 6 on here.
Oh, 407161. Sorry, I forgot it was like the long one now.
407161. Okay, so a dialect, according to Google, is a particular form of a language that is peculiar to a specific region or social group. So a great example of this would be, that hits pretty close to home, would be the different dialects of English across the United States. Now you might be wondering, well, I thought that the way that people spoke across the country was just an accent. But that's actually part of what a dialect is the combination of the way that people will pronounce the words, the accent, along with the grammatical usage of the language. So as it currently stands, there are about 7 or 8 different American English dialects. And the ones that we're going to focus on today are from New England, the South, and the Midwest. And from each of those, I wanted to focus on a very stereotypical dialect that the rest of the country tends to make fun of. So from England, from New England we chose Boston, from the South we chose Alabama, and from the Midwest we chose Minnesota. So a very distinctive characteristic of the Boston dialect is the accent itself and how they drop the R's. So this is called non-rhoticity, and a funny example of this non-rhoticity is the, park your car in the Harvard Yard. But let's watch a video.
I'm Billy Bacon from Boston. I'm trying to see if this phone will recognize my voice with my Boston accent, so they tell me I have one. Where is the closest Starbucks?
I found 17 places matching Starbucks. 9 of them are fairly close to you.
Can I park my car in Harvard Yard?
I'm not aware of any appointments about haven't yet.
Can you tell me what next week's Powerball number is going to be?
I don't know what you mean by. Can you tell me what next week's Powerball number is going to be?
I'll ask you again. It's like talking to my wife. Can you tell me the
I don't
Powerball?
understand. I'll ask you again by talking.
Who's talking? Do you know what next Saturday night's Powerball numbers are going to be?
Now there's a good question. Now, where were we?
I'm here. You're there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this man's accent isn't as extreme as you see in movies and television, but you can definitely tell that as soon as he starts speaking that he's from Boston. And also one stereotypical grammatical aspect of the dialect is the prolific use of curse words. Well, not everybody uses curse words to such an extreme extent in Boston. It's definitely very common to see in movies and television, but this is a family-friendly video, so I'll let you do your own research on that one. Now for the South. While I might be a bit biased because I am from Alabama, the stereotypical dialect that is portrayed in movies and television is more of a Southern Belle, plantation, Civil War era dialect, which is not how anybody talks in Alabama at all. So let's watch a video explaining the accent.
Work on a general Alabama Southern accent. Well, you hear now in the oral posture that there's a little bit of tension in the back of the tongue. Not so much tension that you get real twangy like you might get in the Texas accent or nasally, but there's some bunching back there, so I switched back into the Alabama. And also you hear that there's some R's in this accent, so it's not a non-rhotic accent Mississippi Southern, you've got some R's there. So listen to this phrase. I was born and raised in a small town just outside of Birmingham. So you hear those little words like and, born and raised, are almost unstressed so that they disappear. That is a feature of the musicality of this accent. The diphthong I becomes ah, and it's not a lengthened ah like you hear in a Mississippi accent, but it's ah, as in tanny, man, just like that. And then the A diphthong, as in play, take, becomes play, take. Turns to id. So friend, tend, becomes friend, tend. So what's the musicality of this accent? You get a little quicker than your southern drawl, maybe a little less pitch variety than in your southern drawl, but you still have quite a bit of pitch variety. But don't take my word for it. Go listen to some native Alabama speakers and then go work on your Alabama accent.
To give you a native example of an Alabama dialect, my friend Kayla is going to read off some phrases that give some insight to the grammatical portion of the dialect. In Alabama, when we say I'm going to the store, we say
I'm fixing to go to the store.
and when you get to the store and you need a shopping cart, we say
I gotta get a buggy.
in Alabama, when you need to get your oil changed, you say,
I need to get my oil changed.
and when you haven't seen your friend all day, you ask.
Where you been all day?
And of course, whenever someone comes over to your house, you ask.
Did you eat yet?
And when I say my mom is going to be mad at me, we say.
My mama's gonna kill me.
And if someone's being rude, we say.
She's being ugly.
And if she was asking questions about something she has no business.
She was barking up the wrong tree.
And if something is about to make me extremely angry, I say.
I'm about to fly off the handle.
And last, before you go to bed and you want a kiss, you say.
Give me some sugar.
So as you can tell, the Southern Alabama dialect and the Boston dialect are extremely different, and even more different from those are the Minnesota is the Minnesota dialect. So a distinct feature of the Midwestern dialect is how nasally the accent can sound to people who haven't grown up around it, especially when they drag out their vowels. In this next video, while quite comical, will give you a really good idea about a stereotypical Minnesota accent.
It's the middle of April. Spring is in full bloom here in Minnesota. And you know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of people making generalizations and assumptions and stereotypes about Minnesota. So let me just clear some things up for you real quick. You people think we eat these nasty fish called lutefisk? Yeah, like every day. I've heard people complain that it's a little too cold outside to go trick-or-treating. We went trick-or-treating in like 3 feet of snow. I don't know where my neighbor went, but he's probably fine. I mean, he's Minnesotan. He likes the snow. He's probably fine. Most of you think we Minnesotans got this weird, funny accent, you know? Hey, that would just be some silly pish bosh. Boy, howdy, that we don't got no accent here.
So I think he may be dragging out his accent quite a bit for comic effect, but he hits the accent spot on for our intents and purposes. So at this point in time in the video, you're probably wondering how all of this answers the original question of, are dialects inferior to a standard form of language? So to put it in perspective, I want to explain from one of my own personal experiences. I was in the Army for 5.5 years, and when I first joined, I had a pretty thick Southern accent. And initially, people who weren't from the South treated me differently and acted like I was extremely uneducated or that I wasn't very smart, simply for the way that I spoke. I never understood why people were so judgmental, and then I thought about how I thought about people with an extremely thick Boston accent or a really thick Minnesota accent. So yes, dialects can be seen as inferior to the standard form of a language. However, dialects are unavoidable because languages are constantly evolving. So to avoid future confrontation, people should just be more accepting of regional differences, and therefore the original question will never be an issue in the first place.